Welcome back to Peaceful Soul, the place where a doctor with years of research in neuroscience and human health walk with you on the journey to reclaim balance and mental strength. Today, I want to ask you something. Have you ever slept a full 8 hours? Had a healthy breakfast, maybe even exercised, yet by mid-morning you already feel heavy, tired, and drained of energy? The truth is, even though the brain only makes up about 2% of your body weight, it consumes up to 20% of your daily energy. Imagine a tiny engine inside your head, running non-stop, constantly demanding fuel to keep going. That's why so many of us fall into states of fatigue, stress, and burnout, even when we're trying our best to live a healthy lifestyle. But here's the good news. You can completely change this. Imagine starting your day feeling clear-headed, making smart decisions, working productively, and still having enough energy left to enjoy dinner with your family or nurture your personal passions. It may sound ideal, but it's absolutely possible. The secret lies in one surprisingly simple yet incredibly powerful concept: structure. When you have a clear structure, your brain doesn't waste energy on small decisions. Instead, it channels that power into creativity, problem solving, and staying calm under pressure. In this video, I'll show you why your brain craves structure so much and, more importantly, how you can design one for yourself. I'll share real-life stories of Americans who once struggled with exhaustion but completely transformed their lives by building smart habits. I'll also bring in evidence from trusted studies at Harvard, Stanford, and leading neuroscience centers around the world, so you'll see this isn't just advice. It's science-backed truth, and I have a promise for you. If you stay with Peaceful Soul until the end of this video, you'll not only understand why you often feel tired, but you'll also walk away with a practical roadmap to regain focus, restore energy, and step closer to becoming the strongest version of yourself. To understand why you often feel exhausted, we need to take a closer look at how the brain consumes energy. Even though it makes up only a small fraction of your body weight, the brain is the most energy-hungry organ you have. Every single neuron, the tiny cells that connect to form your nervous system, works non-stop, firing electrical and chemical signals. This process requires a constant supply of glucose and oxygen, much like a car that always needs fuel to run. And when your brain is forced to process too much information at once, energy consumption skyrockets, leaving you drained and fatigued. A study published in Nature Neuroscience revealed that when you're required to make decisions over and over throughout the day, your brain's glucose levels drop much faster than usual. This explains why, by evening, you're more irritable, impatient, and unable to concentrate. Scientists call this decision fatigue, mental exhaustion caused by having to make too many choices. Think of it like your phone. When too many apps are open at once, the battery drains rapidly. Your brain works the same way, except its battery is the energy stored in your body. I remember meeting Michael, a successful entrepreneur in New York. He used to start his mornings by diving into dozens of emails, back-to-back meetings, and endless to-do lists. Every morning, he had to decide everything, from what to eat and what to wear, to which emails to answer first, which meetings to attend, and which contracts to sign. By noon, even though his body was physically fine, his mind was already foggy. The problem wasn't lack of sleep, it was that his brain had burned through most of its fuel just trying to handle the chaos of his mornings. What's even more important to understand is that the brain is designed to conserve energy. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that when you live without structure, the brain is forced into a constant state of prediction, trying to guess what will happen next. This keeps you in a hyper-alert, survival mode, which explains why you feel tense, distracted, and too drained to focus on higher-level tasks like creativity and problem-solving. That's why understanding how the brain burns energy isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's a reminder to treat your brain as one of your most valuable assets. When you learn how to organize your life more effectively and cut away unnecessary burdens, you don't just save energy, you protect your mental clarity. And this becomes the foundation for understanding why your brain deeply craves structure. Our brains are naturally drawn to familiarity. They're like a close friend who prefers staying in the comfort zone, avoiding surprises whenever possible. Neuroscientists have found that over 40% of our daily actions aren't conscious decisions at all, but habits repeated over time. In other words, much of your life runs on autopilot, like a car cruising with self-driving mode turned on, requiring no hands on the wheel. A study at MIT discovered that when you repeat an action often enough, the brain creates neural pathways, mental trails, that make the behavior automatic. The more you repeat it, the stronger and clearer that trail becomes. Think about brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't have to decide which tooth to start with because your brain has already stored that routine. This mechanism allows the brain to conserve energy, saving its power for more complex tasks that demand creativity and problem solving. Take Emily, a teacher in California. Every evening when she came home, she'd set her bag on the chair, wash her hands, and make herself a cup of hot tea. At first, it was a small ritual she consciously tried to build to help herself relax. But within a few weeks, she found she was doing it automatically, without thinking. That habit not only helped her unwind after long days but also signaled to her brain that work time was over and rest time had begun. Of course, habits aren't always beneficial. If you let your brain fall into patterns like staying up late, snacking on sugar, or scrolling your phone before bed, those negative pathways become just as strong. The key point here is that the brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits, it simply ingrains whatever is repeated. That's why breaking bad habits is tough, but it's also the opportunity to reclaim control by deliberately building positive ones. An article in the Journal of Neuroscience highlights that when a habit is triggered, the basal ganglia takes over behavior, while the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, essentially, goes offline. In other words, once a habit is deeply rooted, you act on autopilot, requiring little to no willpower. This also explains why, once you're used to morning workouts, skipping them feels more uncomfortable than doing them. Recognizing that the brain is a creature of habit leads to a powerful realization. You don't need endless motivation every day. What you need is the right system of habits. Because once the brain has automated positive behaviors, they become a sustainable source of strength, propelling you forward with far less effort. And this insight lays the foundation for our next discussion, the true power of structure. Structure in life is not a restrictive chain, but rather a foundation that helps the brain feel safe and stay more focused. When things are arranged in order, the brain doesn't have to waste energy predicting what will happen next. This frees up a large portion of your mental bandwidth for what truly matters. You can think of structure as train tracks. Without them, the train can easily go off course and stall midway. A study by researchers at University College London showed that maintaining a clear schedule reduces stress levels while boosting the sense of control. When you know what you'll do and when you'll do it, your brain doesn't have to constantly strain to make decisions. This is also why people who write daily plans tend to experience less anxiety and procrastination. Take David, for example, a software engineer in Seattle. He used to work on impulse, sometimes starting a new project late at night, sometimes letting emails pile up until the weekend. Even though he worked hard, David often felt overwhelmed and inefficient. After attending a coaching program, he tried creating a simple structure. Wake up at 6 a.m., do light exercise, have breakfast, then tackle his most important task before even checking email. Within just 1 month, David noticed he was getting more done with much less stress. Science backs this up. A study published in Psychological Science found that when people maintain familiar structures, the brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter that fuels motivation and excitement. In other words, the more you stick to a structure, the easier it becomes to sustain energy and confidence. That's also why many professional athletes follow strict routines. They're not just training their bodies but also reinforcing their mental strength. That said, structure should not be rigid or oppressive. You don't need to plan out every single minute of your day. What matters is establishing anchors for your key activities, sleep time, meal times, deep work sessions, and rest breaks. Once these anchors are solid, the rest of your day can remain flexible, yet your brain still feels guided. It's this balance between structure and flexibility that creates lasting stability. On the other hand, a lack of structure easily leads to chaos. staying up late, eating irregularly, letting tasks pile up, and eventually burning out. By contrast, having structure means creating an environment that nurtures the brain, where energy can flow into creativity, connection, and self-growth. And that's also the stepping stone for us to explore the deeper relationship between structure and freedom in the next part. Many people often mistake living with structure for being restricted or losing freedom. But the truth is the opposite. Structure is the very foundation that allows you to truly enjoy freedom. Picture a jazz musician. On stage, they can improvise freely, creating soulful melodies. Yet behind that freedom lies a solid base of music theory, rhythm, and technique. Without structure, creativity quickly slips into chaos. The same applies to everyday life. When you build a clear framework for work, meals, and rest, you'll find yourself with more time and energy to pursue what you love. Sarah, a mother of 3 in Texas, once shared that she used to feel exhausted, caught in an endless cycle of work and family responsibilities, with no moment left for herself. But once she set fixed times for meals, work, and bedtime for her kids, Sarah suddenly had peaceful evenings to read, learn piano, and enjoy her own personal space. A study published in Harvard Business Review found that people who maintain clear, structured routines report 31% higher life satisfaction compared to those who don't. This isn't because they do less, it's because they waste far less time and energy. When your mind doesn't have to wrestle with chaos, you can give your full presence to joy, passion, and meaningful relationships. Think of your day like a glass jar. If you pour in sand and water first, there's no room left for the big rocks. But if you place the big rocks in first, your core structures in life, then both sand and water can still fit in neatly. This is a beautiful metaphor for the idea that structure creates freedom, the freedom to choose how to fill the rest of your life. It's no coincidence that some of the most successful people in the world live by strong structures. Author Stephen King writes at least 2,000 words every morning. No exceptions. This structured habit has allowed him to sustain creativity over decades and publish more than 60 books. Clearly, instead of killing inspiration, structure nurtures it, giving him the freedom to soar on every page. The key thing to remember is this: structure doesn't limit your freedom, it protects it. It's like a map. With a map, you can explore freely, knowing you won't get lost. Without one, you might follow your impulses, but it's all too easy to end up in a dead end. By now, you've seen clearly. The brain doesn't just need structure, it also needs smart strategies to thrive within that structure. The important question is, how can you build an effective system without feeling restricted? Neuroscientists point to 3 powerful, simple, yet highly practical tools: building habits, managing time with time blocking, and resting the right way with brain breaks. These are the 3 keys that can transform the way you work and the way you live. Strategy 1. Building habits, the power of repetition. The brain loves repetition, because repetition carves strong, neural pathways. A study from University College London found that it takes, on average, about 66 days for a new action to become automatic. That means if you consistently practice even a small action, like drinking a glass of warm water each morning or jotting down a few lines in a journal, it will eventually become second nature, requiring no extra willpower. Take Mark, an entrepreneur in New York. He used to feel lost every morning, unsure whether to exercise, eat breakfast, or check his emails first. Once he learned about habit formation, he set up a simple sequence: wake up, drink water, do 10 minutes of yoga, then open the laptop. At first, it was tough, but after 2 months, it became automatic. The result? Mark started his days more alert, less distracted, and saw improvements in both his work and health. Strategy 2. Time blocking, managing time in blocks. The biggest enemy of the modern brain is distraction. Instead of letting emails, messages, or surprise meetings hijack your entire day, you can use time blocking, dividing your day into specific blocks for specific tasks. For example, in the morning you dedicate 2 hours to deep work, such as writing, research, or tackling complex problems. In the afternoon, you assign blocks for meetings, another for emails, and one for learning. A study from California State University found that people who practice time blocking complete 23% more tasks and feel far more in control of their time. Why? Because once your brain knows what task belongs to which hour, it no longer wastes energy on constant decision making. Strategy 3. Brain breaks, resting to recharge the mind. Many people believe high performance means working non-stop. In reality, the brain can only sustain peak focus for about 60 to 90 minutes. Push past that, and performance drops sharply, mistakes rise, and burnout becomes inevitable. That's why brain breaks, short, intentional pauses, are such a powerful tool. The Pomodoro technique is a great example. Work for 25 minutes. Rest for 5 minutes. Repeat. After 4 cycles, take a longer 15 to 20 minute break. Simple as it seems, this method has been proven to help the brain stay alert, reduce mental fatigue, and boost creativity. Even short breaks like a quick walk, deep breathing, or sipping water act like a reset button, bringing your mind back to clarity. When combined, these 3 strategies form a protective framework against brain overload. Habits automate the small stuff. Time blocking puts you in control, and brain breaks keep your mind fresh. Together, they create the perfect trio to help you work smarter, stress less, and live in balance. Theory only becomes meaningful when reflected through real life, and it's our everyday experiences that show the true power of structure. To make this clearer, let me share 3 very ordinary stories that carry extraordinary lessons. Emily, an elementary school teacher in California, used to feel drained from bringing work home every night. After attending a neuroscience workshop, she applied time blocking. Mornings for lesson prep, afternoons for teaching and grading, evenings reserved for family. Surprisingly, her work got done faster, and she not only enjoyed teaching again but also had time to take her kids out for walks every day. Michael, a medical student in Boston, spent countless nights cramming with little to show for it. After trying the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of study, 5 minutes of rest, he noticed a huge boost in focus and memory. Within 1 semester, he not only became top of his class but also broke free from the exhaustion he used to feel. Jennifer, a single mom in Texas, once believed she had no time left for herself. But by starting with one tiny habit, waking up 15 minutes earlier to breathe and journal, she found her mornings lighter. Over time, Jennifer gained more energy, felt less stressed, and became confident in balancing both motherhood and her independence as a woman. These changes weren't random. A study published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that when workers build healthy routines and take proper breaks, not only do they perform better, but they also reduce their risk of depression by up to 26%. That proves structure isn't just about productivity, it's a long-term safeguard for mental health. The stories of Emily, Michael, and Jennifer reveal that success and happiness don't come from giant leaps, but from small, repeated actions, and it's the compounding effect of those little things that creates true transformation. Looking back, one truth becomes clear. The brain doesn't need to work harder, it needs to work smarter. And the secret lies in structure. Lesson 1. Small habits create big change. You don't need to transform everything overnight. Start with actions that are easy to maintain. Drink a glass of water when you wake up. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Or go to bed at the same time every day. These little rituals act as anchors for your brain, forming a steady foundation. Lesson 2. Try time blocking. Divide your day into clear blocks. 1 for your most important work, 1 for learning, 1 for family, and 1 for rest. With a clear schedule, you'll not only get more done but also feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. Lesson 3. Rest is essential. Don't treat it as a luxury. Give yourself short breaks during the day. Breathe deeply. Take a short walk, or simply stand up and sip some water. These moments are your reset button, helping your brain recharge and return with creativity. Most importantly, remember this. Structure doesn't take away your freedom, it protects it. It's like a map. When you have a map, you can explore anywhere without the fear of getting lost. Without one, it's easy to get swallowed up by chaos. So, start today. You don't need to change everything, just pick one strategy. Whether it's building a habit, practicing time blocking, or taking brain breaks, and apply it this week. You'll notice a difference, small, but real. And if you keep going, those changes will multiply, creating a new life, lighter, sharper, and filled with true freedom. Thank you for joining Peaceful Soul on today's journey. Together, we've explored the power of structure, a simple yet remarkable tool that can transform your mind from chaos to focus, from exhaustion to energy, and from restriction to true freedom. Remember, change doesn't come from grand resolutions, but from small, consistent steps repeated every single day. So don't wait for tomorrow. Choose just one small action from what you've learned today and put it into practice right now. Before you go, I want to leave you with a gentle reminder. Your brain is your loyal companion. When you give it structure, it will return to you peace and freedom. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit the like button to support the channel, subscribe to Peaceful Soul so you won't miss future journeys, and share this video with friends and loved ones who may also be seeking peace and strength in their lives. And most importantly, I'd love to hear from you. Right finger, which strategy will you apply to your mind right after watching this video? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may inspire countless others in the Peaceful Soul community. Until next time, I wish you a calm mind, a warm heart, and a life filled with freedom and serenity.